Hello. Is everything working? It's a question for myself, as well as whoever's there at the moment. We had a bunch of people waiting before I started, and then once I connected, like the concurrent viewers dropped down to one, and I was just like, "What's happening? Have I have I kicked everyone out? Is everyone gone?" Hi, Tawaka. How's it going? Just checking. Can you hear me? I think that makes a difference. If you can hear me, that means that this is all working and ready to go. I should actually... Hello, Dean. How's it going? Yes, so I guess that I'm waiting for people to actually notice that the stream has started. It's a bit quiet. Yeah, I see it quiet on my end as well. Like, my mic is very low. Let me just crank that up a little. There we go. Is that louder? That doesn't seem to be that much louder in the from what I'm getting on OBS. Anyway, that's... And let me see if I can boost the audio a little. It didn't get much louder, did it? Properties? Nah, OBS doesn't boost. Checking the sound settings on my computer, but I'm pretty sure my computer already has the mic up at full volume. Oh, wait. Wrong microphone. Yeah, this one was low. Alright, that should be better. Yeah, that's way louder now. Okay, cool. So, I've connected way too many things to my computer at once, so I have two webcams, both with their own microphones. Oh, there's Chicken. Hello. Hang on. She's just coming into the room. I have Chicken Cam set up back there. I'm just like pointing at the monitor. Okay, back there on the whatchamacallit, on the cat tree in my other setup. So I'll see if she goes up there in a second. Okay. So I set my microphone up. Because I had like so many things plugged in at once. I've got two webcams, both with their own microphone, my external microphone and my headset microphone. I'm not sure which microphone I just boosted, but one of them's up real loud. I'll find that out later when that's a problem, probably when I'm gaming. But anyway, welcome. So we've got a bunch of people here tonight. I see Casey. Hello, Casey. This is like for those of you who are just following me from me having lectured you. Casey's one of my friends from the outside world. I met up with a bunch of my students a while back, and I made the mistake of saying the phrase, it's like, I said something about my real friends, and they were like, "Oh, so offended." And they were like, "After all these years of us not being your students anymore, you still don't consider us real friends." And I was like, "Oh." But yes. Hello, everyone else who's here. So hi, Casey. Hi, Tawaka's here. Hey, Dean. Dean's still a mod left over from the lecturing days. Winston's here. Hello, how's it going? And Olivia's here. Liv, how are you? Haha. This is good. Like, it's fun to be back. I haven't streamed. I don't know when was the last time I streamed. Like, maybe October or something. It would have been a very, very long time ago. So tonight, let me just see which... Oh, Chicken is investigating whether she's going to climb into the bookshelf or not, so I'll just let her be herself and do her thing. Busy with work. I've been busy with not work. It's really funny kind of thing where I've been kind of half working for the second half of last year, doing a lot of private tutoring and stuff like that. And then this year I have barely gotten it started again, and it's already the end of January. But fair excuse, I got COVID just after New Year's, and that kind of shut me down for 2 weeks. And even after that, It was weird. I found it hard to just kind of ramp back up. Like Casey ran into me the other weekend. We were down in Canberra for a miniature painting thing, and I was fine while I was there, and I was feeling good. Lots of energy from catching up with friends I hadn't seen in years and stuff like that. But then when I got home, I just kind of deflated, and it was like, oh, okay, quite fine. This is like, major virus recovery. You don't just bounce back immediately once the the tests come back negative, and then you're just totally fine. You've actually got to kind of like give yourself a little while to recover and stuff. You crashed hard as well. Yeah, so you crashed hard just from crashing hard, I guess. I thought it was COVID related, but maybe it was just like big weekend, lots of friends hanging out, talking a lot and stuff, and then like even like a little bit of like, so we were all there entering a painting competition, Casey and I and a bunch of other people and stuff, and it's really funny being judged, having your art on display and being judged. It's actually quite stressful. I don't know about you, Case, but maybe I think you were not trying not to pay too much attention to the judging when it was happening in person, but I watched a lot of it, and I don't know if that was a great idea. It's like probably better after the fact to watch the videos of it rather than like right there in the moment where you can really stress yourself out and stuff. Yeah, totally. You want to hang out with people instead. Anyway, let me show everyone what toys I have for this evening. So this is the test to see whether all the stuff I've set up earlier today works. Yeah, that looks okay. That looks like it's working. So, this is actually my painting desk most of the time. But today we're going to be playing around with building a mechanical keyboard. I have never built one before. I bought one that has most everything that you need to get going. Actually, like, as far as I can tell, I don't think this is a huge, involved, long build, and I stopped short of actually buying, like, switch lube. So I was like, I'm not breaking open all the switches and lubricating them, so instead I got some pre-lubed switches in a kit. So I'm going easy on myself and doing a very, very entry-level build here. So let me show you what I've got. So I mean, it still looks very, very nice for an entry-level build. It comes in its own fancy zip-up box. Sorry, I got bits and pieces here from my miniature painting stuff and my little cat. This is like, anyone gone to like the gachapon in like underneath where is it, Regent Place in Sydney? This is where I got this from. There's a little cat that holds a pencil, and I've been using it to like hold a paintbrush, only like it doesn't hold it very well at all. You just slightest bump and it falls off, so it's just cute. It's just cute and funny. Okay, so here's the kit that I have. It's called a Portico 75, so 75% keyboard, which means it's got the arrow keys, but it doesn't have much of the bits and pieces, but it still has the F keys, which I don't know if I really need, but I got it anyway because it was a decent. This case is pretty funny. When I tried to open it earlier, it's just like, no, you can't have your keyboard because you undo the strap and then you let go, and then it just velcros itself back up, which is very silly but also very funny. F5 is essential. I guess F5 is a key that you are going to use a lot. Okay, so this is the keyboard. So it actually came with stabilizers pre-installed, which means this is actually probably going to be a pretty quick build. I don't know that much about building keyboards other than having watched a lot of YouTube about keyboards. I've been watching Hippotech and someone called Keyboard, where it's like not board but like board of keyboards. Let me spell it out, and then you'll see. That's the name of the channel. And he's pretty funny too. So they're like, there's really interesting people, and they really get into it. So there's heaps of stuff online about keyboard making and things, and so this is Key.co is this company, and this is reasonably cheap in the overall scheme of things. I mean, still not cheap, but it's like in terms of mechanical keyboards, custom mechanical keyboards, it's pretty cheap. Okay, so I've got this, and I got their switches with it, and these switches, look at the colors. Let me just get a few of these out. They are. Hey, I'm gonna turn this light on. No, that did not help at all. No, the light's washing it out too much. But they're like pastel yellow, aqua, and pink switches. So these switches are so over the top, and that's great. They come pre-lubed, so we'll see how they sound. And these ones are a tactile switch. So I usually use a linear switch, which is just like, you know, the same amount of pressure all the way down, but these have a bit of a kind of a, I don't know what you'd call it, like a texture to the movement of the switch. So yeah, we'll see how they feel. If I don't like them, I'll get another set of key switches, and I'll do another video of me pulling all the switches out and redoing them. Hello Donna, how's it going? So yeah, so those are the switches that are going in it. This kit also comes with a bunch of tools, which I will be opening and using in a moment once I get started with things. Having gotten ready for this by watching an unnecessary amount of keyboard making videos, I have other stuff ready. Ooh, is the stream still going? Mine just kind of paused. I don't know if that's just the preview has paused. It's still on. Oh, okay, cool, fine. Okay, my YouTube preview has paused. My OBS is saying it's still going, and YouTube is still saying it has a connection, but my YouTube preview is paused. Oh, I don't really need that. It's okay. All it does is it shows me how many seconds behind the real stream is. Right, loaded for a few seconds and resumed. Okay, still going. My preview is toast, though. I can't restart my preview. Oh well, I don't really need it. All it does is tells me how far behind YouTube is from where I am. And I can kind of tell that from like how long the text chat takes from people who are there. Okay, so I've got, wait, which camera? I've got some masking tape. So if you've watched any mechanical keyboard videos, people use masking tape on the back of the PCB, so the actual board that the switches go into. And what it does is it just gives a bit more heft to the board, I think, and that increases the thock of the keyboard. So I've been getting into the lingo, it's so cool. So it's like whether your keyboard thocks or clacks. So the clack is a high-pitched sound, the thock is a low-pitched sound, and you can tune the keyboard for whichever kind of sound you want. And you can buy switches that thock more than clack. You can also buy keycaps that thock more than clack. You can do stuff with the inside of the keyboard. So this actually has a silicon weight inside it, which I think helps it thock. I'm not sure, but anything that kind of deadens the sound inside helps it to thock more. Hey Tawaka, welcome back. You haven't missed too much. I've just been showing off the bits and pieces before I get started on anything. So, what I'm going to be doing, I'm going to be putting the switches in, keycaps. I haven't shown you the keycaps yet, although you may have seen them from the preview picture and stuff like that. Hopefully I don't break anything while I do this, but we'll see how we go. I haven't actually looked into what what software manages this keyboard in terms of like the RGB and stuff. There's definitely LEDs here, so I haven't checked what I need to install for that, but we'll deal with that later. We can probably see some RGB in it just by plugging it in. That might be worth doing, plugging it in just to test if it's working. If only I had any USB sockets remaining on my computer, which I'm pretty sure I don't right now, because I plugged in a whole bunch of cameras for the cat, who is not here right now. I don't know where she is, but like last I saw her, she was crawling into the back of the bookshelf. She likes to crawl in behind the books. So yeah, who knows? Maybe she'll be back. We'll see. Alright. Alright. Oh yeah, that's what I was going to do. I was going to show you the keycaps. So, I'd been looking around at different themes for what keycaps to get, and I was talking on Discord. Actually, let me just... If anyone's here who's not on my Discord... Where did I pin the message? There you go, there it is. Here is a link to my Discord if anyone wants to be on it. It's not super active. We don't do that much on it, but like if you're keen, you can come hang out anyway. Here is so we were talking on Discord about different keycap sets, and so I put up a bunch of images of things, and someone was like, I can't remember who said it, was talking about a chicken themed keycap set, and I was like, oh, let's see if I can do that. And so I was like just looking up cat themed keycap sets, and of course I was then inundated with hundreds and hundreds of possible keycap sets, but I found this one called Coffee Cat, and I liked it because the colors were right. So it's, let me just open this. Important thing I think with a keycap set is to try not to open it by throwing everything everywhere, because then I'm going to lose the organization of it. But yeah, so it's just got this kind of really kind of nice, cute brown keycaps, including things like this. Are we focusing? Yeah. Escape key is like a coffee mug cat. The shift key here is a cat holding a coffee, and so there's all these little things, and I don't want to drop this. This would be pretty bad. But yeah, lots of different keys that have this kind of lovely kind of brown theme, but also just all these little pictures of things. Let me bring this up closer so you can see. Little pictures of cats and stuff like that, so I can use them for keys like escape and stuff like that I want to do, or even if I want to replace my WASD, if I'm going to be gaming heaps, with like just colored keys instead. So yeah, those are the keycaps that are going to go on eventually. I will close this up for now so that I don't accidentally like knock this over and then end up with the keys out of it. I think it's much easier to put the keycaps on when they're actually in the right order. Okay, so I put this over on the side for now. And let's go back to the main keyboard. I'm going to take it out of its case. So I'll take the lovely case and I'll put that aside for the moment. I got a side table here. You can see where I'm just putting all my stuff. Okay, so I am wondering what order to do things in. I don't know if I should maybe be testing the keyboard first, like just plugging it into power and making sure some LEDs come on and stuff like that. But I'm also potentially going to be opening the keyboard and taking it apart and stuff like that. So if I'm gonna do a tape mod on the back of the PCB, then the question for myself is, do I do that before or after I put switches and keys in? I feel like that's gotta happen before. But another part of me was also wondering about whether I want to do that. What was I thinking? Whether I want to do that after I put the keycaps and the switches and keycaps in, so then I can test the sound difference of the tape mod. But I don't know, I don't know how hard that's going to be, because I feel like once the keys are in, this thing's not going to want to come open and play around anymore. But maybe it will. Who knows? First thing I'm going to do is a little bit investigative anyway, is I'm going to test if it powers up first, because I obviously can't test whether the input works, because we do not have any keys with which to do input, so we can't really test that all the keys work. until I put the switches in, and then I find out whether I've actually installed the switches properly. But I can at least just test if this thing powers up. So I'm just getting the USB cable out here. I'm just going to literally plug this into some USB power. It's not even connected to my computer, it's just USB power, just to see if this thing powers up. So what I'm expecting to see is some LEDs come on or something. Oh, there we are. Oh, God. Right. It's... Look at my face on my face cam. This is unnecessarily bright. It has some LEDs inside the base as well, which is cool. Okay, I'm gonna turn this off. It's been a while since I've actually gone clubbing. But yeah, that's bright. I mean, the good thing about that is most of that light, I guess it's nice for it to be that bright because the keys are going to cover up most of the direct light from those LEDs. But thank you, keyboard. Good to know. Yeah, Donna, like, as 100%, it was like it was just like, holy shit. It's at that point where you're like, I need the keys to cover up these LEDs because that is way too bright. Like, I won't be able to see my monitor through that. At least we know that it's working. It's powered up and it's working. I'm just going to turn my camera across a little so that it's aimed at me while I'm at this desk. Okay, so next thing we're going to do. We've confirmed that power works. We've got switches here. I wonder... I'm just thinking about... I can't even plug this into my computer to test anything because I've literally run out of USB ports on my computer. I'm just wondering which thing that I can unplug. Alright, when it comes down to it, I can unplug my speakers. I don't need speakers right now while I'm streaming, but we'll get to that later. Because there's no way to test things until I've actually got switches in. So, I'm gonna pop this thing open and do the tape mod on the back of the PCB. So this is just masking tape. And then I'll flip it over, put switches on, and then maybe at least with the switches on, test. I wonder if there are apps that I should install for keyboard testing, like just something that tells you what buttons what keys you're pressing at what particular time. Oh, I wonder if this thing actually has any paperwork. It totally doesn't. I thought that maybe it would have like a bit of paper saying, we have an app that connects to this keyboard, download it here and such, but maybe not. That's okay. Okay, pulling out this nice little screwdriver for in a moment where I'm possibly going to be, I'll leave the tools there, possibly going to be playing around with popping this thing open. Yeah, so I'm wondering if, let me just look it up. I'll type it in here as well. So this is a Portico 75 by the key.co. Liz says, next video, use the paints to paint your own key. I was thinking of that and I was like, maybe, but also that is so much stuff. Like, just so much work to do. So I was just like, not sure. But I was also thinking that, yeah, I could do something like paint the case. So I could do some cool stuff with the case. This case is just a pretty basic kind of darkened translucent. They call it smoke color. So yeah, I could totally paint it if I wanted to. I am also unsure about painting the keys because I'm wondering what will they feel like if I paint the keys. Like, are they going to feel tacky and stuff depending on the types of paints I use? Or do I need to varnish them in a particular way so that they feel good? But I still think that, yes, painted keys might be super interesting. And it'll be really, really personal because most people can't afford painted keys. Because if you look at, like, custom craft-made keyboard bits on Etsy and stuff, it's, like, super, super expensive, right? Yeah, Casey reckons Posca and varnish. Yeah, Posca actually would cover up very quickly. And the right kind of varnish would hopefully feel good under the fingers. I think that's one of the things that people would get annoyed about, I think, is that different kinds of paints have different finishes that will maybe feel tacky under your fingers. Not sure. But yeah, Liz, painting just a few special keys could totally do that. I've seen people with some really, really zany escape keys and stuff like that. Yeah. Backspace key gets used once a day. Yeah. Or even like the entire F row. Like, you don't use them very much at all. I actually was tempted to get I think they call them a 65% keyboard where the top row is not there. So it's really, really kind of like small and efficient in a sense. But I got this mostly because the kit is cheap, and they gave me a discount on the switches because it's by the same brand. So it was a good starting point because I can see how the keyboard thing could be really, really expensive if you got into it too much. Ooh, they have their build tutorial. Assemble and attach stabilizers to the PCB, screw together the PCB plate and felt dampening mat. Felt dampening mat? I don't think I have a felt dampening mat, but maybe inside there. I thought it was a silicone thing. So I've just found a build tutorial from the company, and I'm looking through here. Put these into the polycarbonate case, screw together, insert switches, test they work via configurator. Okay, via configurator. That's the software. Download via configurator. You'll be using it to test your switches. Alright. I'm just downloading the software. Oh no, you don't even have to download the software. It's a web app. Okay, so that's open and ready, and I'll plug that into my computer later. I'll plug the keyboard into my computer later. Casey's sending me links on Facebook right now about like people painting an Xbox controller. That's actually kind of cool. I could get into that kind of thing. We have this kind of thing where like those of us who paint a lot of miniatures are just like, oh, we've got all these like painting skills, and we don't have to just paint like miniatures, gaming miniatures, or art miniatures all the time. We could paint random things, and it'd be fun. Oh, actually, let me show you something I painted the end of last year. I don't know if I think I showed this on Discord already, but like I found this model kit of the Tantu 4, which is a Corellian Corvette in Star Wars, and I painted it, and after I painted it I was like, how cool would it be to put this in the actual scene it's in the movie. So I like downloaded a photo of not a photo, just a screen grab of the backdrop. That's Tatooine, the planet, and the two moons over Tatooine, and I just painted that. So this is like one of the first times I've painted something two-dimensional where the shape wasn't kind of given to me by the plastic model, and I just had to paint it myself. And I had a lot of fun with it. I thought it was a lot of fun. A lot of people like it as well. When I've shown it to people online and stuff, they were just like, that is cool. And I'm like, thank you. I know it's cool. It felt cool to make as well. Okay. So I have the software ready for when I plug the keyboard in, and I think that's the thing that will test whether the keys were working or not. But there's no point plugging in until the switches are ready. Okay, before you begin, they say you've got all these bits and pieces. Build. Remove 9 screws from the bottom, store them somewhere secure. Alright, let's get into it. I've been talking for like half an hour and haven't actually done anything yet. So I've got the screwdriver. I'm going to use the tools they give me, because why not? If they're going to package... I think this kit is packaged really specifically to be really beginner friendly. So all the tools, there's stuff for removing switches, there's a keycap puller, that's the keycap puller, switch puller. So it's kind of like nice set of tweezers. I've already got lots of tweezers. Like people who get into scale model kits and miniature painting, they've already got those toys. But you know, there's a little Allen key. What's that for? Oh, the Allen key is going to be for the little knob, the volume knob that's on the keyboard. And we've got these little foam gaskets, which are going to be the soft pieces that attach the PCB to the case itself so that it has a soft feel when you type on it. But we'll get to that in a second. Alright, let's pop this case open. Actually, you know what I'm going to do? I might actually use that Allen key. Oh no, I won't bother. I was going to take the knob off because it's not sitting flat on my desk with the knob at the moment, but I figure that won't be a problem for long. Before I do that though, just grabbing, this is like one of my painting things for when I'm traveling and painting. It's a portable water cup for your brushes, and it even has like a ridged lip so you can put your brushes flat in the top and they won't fall off. So it's a cute little thing, but I'm actually just going to use it flat for the moment to keep the screws. Just a little container. Alright, actually getting into it, let us unscrew bits and pieces and get this keyboard open. It feels like this is not quite the right size screwdriver for this. You know when the screwdriver is too small and all it does is grind out the screws? That feels like this is right on the verge of doing that. I'm a little concerned. I'm not sure if this screw is turning or all I'm doing is engraving the screw. Let me grab one of my own kit here, see if I can get a slightly better. What are we looking at? Maybe this one. Oh yeah, that's way better. Yes. The benefits of having, I've got an entire like miniature toolkit sitting there behind my paint. So I've got like, what do I got? I've got pin vise, which is a tiny hand drill. I've got a Dremel. I've got a hot glue gun. I've got a whole bunch of clippers, tweezers, sanding sticks, all that kind of stuff. So it's nice to have all those tools. So as I said at the beginning, I said I was going to use their tools. I'm already throwing their tool away. It does not drive these screws very effectively compared to my tools. But, you know, when you get your own tools, they're always kind of going to be better. Hello, Brandon. How's it going? Yes, it is keyboard time. And you haven't missed much because all I've done is talk about it and go through kind of what was in the box and everything. And now I'm actually popping this thing open to build the bits inside it and maybe do some modifications so that it sounds nice and stuff like that. Does anyone here really get into keyboards? Anyone watching have like thousands of dollars worth of multiple keyboards that they've built and stuff? Brandon saying you've only just dipped your toe into the water. Oh, with Keychron. Oh, yeah. So I did look at Keychrons. My partner's got a Keychron, and yes, it's a very nice keyboard. I bought her a bunch of keycaps for Christmas? Birthday. Yeah, and that was fun. And actually, I could only find the right keycaps because I'd done all this research myself for looking into keyboards. But yeah, so I do know that Keychron is both high quality and pretty good value. But the fact that they were pre-built was something that I didn't want, so I was like, I'm going to get a kit where it's all about building it rather than being pre-built and then I would take it apart and rebuild it into something. Having said that, a great deal of this kit is pre-built because, as you can see, the stabilizers are already in, and that's something you'd probably have to install. The switches are pre-lubed, so I don't have to. I mean, like, this stream would have gone for a really, really long time if I had to lube the switches. I am a little bit regretting that I didn't get some lube, because I don't think you'll be able to hear it, but can you hear that? Maybe you can hear that. That's the stabilizers rattling around, and I feel like maybe I should have lubed the stabilizers. But, you know, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, there's 8 of them. I can always get lube later and pull out those keys and lube the stabilizers if I want to do that. Okay, so taking this thing apart, that's the top shell. Let's put that. I'm running out of space for random storage. Okay, so put that there. Top of the case there. The internal workings. Oh, I'm glad I didn't yank that too hard. There's a little daughter board there for the USB cable, and I think I need to unplug that from here while I'm working on things. Are you gonna unplug? It looks like it should. Yeah, there we go. Alright, so just unplug that. This is the PCB and the top plate, and between them two is a layer of foam, which is nice, so that should also alleviate a bit of rattle and things. This has actually already got the gaskets installed, so I'm not even going to need to do that, which is nice. So it's even less work to do. Oh, I'm just piling things on top of each other over here, and that's really, really not stable. I love how, like, I'm here and I've got this dedicated workspace that I'm doing this on, and then like I keep having to put stuff on the side table because my dedicated workspace is at a different scale of work. Like, what's some random stuff that I work on? There's a single miniature, so there's more than enough space to work on a single miniature here. This space was not made for a keyboard. Okay, so this is cool. Oh, that's weird. Why is there a single screw in here? I'm gonna need to figure out where that came from. Did you come from here? Or from the underside? Yeah. There's a screw missing on the underside there, and that was just sitting in the case there. Not ideal. Let's put that back in. So I think that was holding the PCB and the plate together. And I think I can leave them screwed together. They don't need to be. I think the whole electronics kit here, I don't think I'm gonna need to mess with. Thank you, Casey. Yes, I see it now. There's another one here. So they were a little bit loose with this in the beginning. You know what I need? I actually used to have one of these. Whoa, nearly lost that. Is a magnetic screwdriver, but it's kind of like, yes, you want a magnetic screwdriver, and no, you don't if you ever work inside a computer. Because you're like, let's just wipe our hard drives with the magnetic screwdriver. So, okay. Put those little screws back together, and hopefully that means that this is now okay. So we'll put this aside again and have a look at what's underneath. Is a surprisingly heavy silicon mat. So I can see why they've actually carved out these hexagons. That's actually a cool looking shape that you will never see inside the keyboard. So this, I'm pretty sure, is the weight and the dampener to keep the sound going nice and stuff. Brandon saying, you're watching while preparing for a cybersecurity job interview tomorrow. Productivity inspires you to keep being productive. Good luck for tomorrow. But also, if it doesn't work out, that's also kind of fine. You know, like, I was like talking to people about, like, you know, successful computing students about how many interviews that people are doing nowadays before they get their jobs, and it's just like, holy shit. You know, especially in the current climate, getting an interview at all is quite good. I've heard of a lot of people getting laid off and things like that, and hiring freezes and things. So it's all potentially quite messy at the moment. It's a learning experience. It's a learning experience. We used to call them character building. So anything that was just painful, like it just hurt us to do. We just always call it character building and just be like, yeah, we'll figure out some other way around that. Okay. The instructions that I've got here talk about taking apart the electronics bit there, but I don't know if I need to do that. I think that was instructions for an older kit where you needed to build the stabilizers. Yeah. Okay. Let's skip over. I'll send you the link to the thing that I'm following. I know it's like probably not very relevant because it's not like we all have the same keyboard in front of us and we're all building it together. But anyway, that's the thing that I'm following. Yeah, and so a lot of that is like you've got to take the whole thing apart to build the stabilizers. Luckily, I don't have to do that, which is so my build is like way more chill. Even the gaskets already being on there. This is the soft foam. Hang on, put it back on camera. These gaskets, which is the soft foam, so that there is no hard link between this piece and the polycarbonate case, so it's all kind of soft and squishy. The thing that I am wondering about, which I think is guaranteed to happen, is there's going to be cat hair inside this keyboard by the time I'm done with it. But you know, if you love your cat, then you don't mind the cat hair going everywhere. Brandon, we could do a follow. That would be so funny, I think, if we like everyone got the same thing and then we all did it together. But I'm not about to say, hey, everyone here, spend like $300 on a keyboard kit. I don't know if it was that much. It wasn't quite that much, but like, you know, mechanical keyboards nowadays, they're that ballpark, so they're not something that you can just like, yeah, it's not just a funsies project. I do laugh that people make multiple of these. Actually, I'm just going to open the window a bit, get some cool air through. Hopefully it's not too noisy when I do that. Okay, looking through the instructions. Oh, they're like the only reason I actually needed to get this thing open was, according to the instructions, was to install the stabilizers on the keyboard, which are already there. But let's do this tape mod. So this is something that I heard about from a YouTube channel called Hippiotech, and he's like this really, really fun, quirky keyboard builder guy. Olivia, you live saying that your friend DIY'd his own keyboard at Makerspace and spent like $500. Yeah, I think this is like me spending, I think it's about $250 for this whole thing. Is super entry level. Like you can't really get it any cheaper than this. And if you look at like the hot swappable Keychron keyboards, they're like the same price. They're about $250. Quite affordable, yeah, totally. Yeah. This is not the kind of hobby that you'd want to get into long term. But I mean, I say that as a miniature painter, and I just like look at all these paints and stuff like that, and like not to mention the thousands of dollars of miniatures like in boxes and stuff back there that I've bought and then never done anything with. So there's a lot of yeah. Never count how much money is going into your hobbies, because it's always more than you probably should. So this is a cutting mat that I usually use for like working on building minis and stuff, but I'm just putting it underneath to have a slightly softer surface for the keyboard to sit on while I put masking tape on it. So the masking tape is just, I think it's just something soft and slightly weighty on the back of the PCB to change the way that it sounds. I wonder if I'm supposed to do this before or after the switches. No, it's got to be before, because you do this, then you put it all inside, you close the thing back up, and then you put the switches on, right? Brandon's saying, yeah, it's hard to explain why you have 5 keyboards to not interested friends. Yeah, totally. Okay, so from what I can tell, it's just basically putting the tape onto the keyboard. I wonder if I should cut this nicely or I can just tear it. The answer is I should have cut it nicely. I'm gonna go find some scissors. I'll be right back. I had them back there before. Do I even have scissors in here? It's a whole modeling workshop and no scissors. Alright, we're going for Stanley knife. Hello, Halogen! Oh, Brandon. Yeah, Casey, yep. My partner is watching the stream in the other room. He's just passing scissors in. Thank you! Okay, I got scissors as well. Hobby knife is hard. Like, it would be... I can cut the tape maybe on the roll or when there's a bit of tension, but when there isn't, I think I'm going to need the scissors. So I'm just going to cut the excess off here because there's a little bit more than I need on a part of this. And I think it'll be fine either way because this is not going to be seen once it closes up. I hope. I mean, it's a translucent case. But you saw those RGBs. I feel like the RGB, the LEDs are going to just override anything that I do. So I'm just making sure that this is all contacting, because otherwise I don't think it's very effective if it's just tape that's not touching the board. Also making an assumption here, well, I mean, like, surely the number of other people that have done this, surely the tape is not conductive. It's not gonna, like, it's not gonna short out the keyboard. And even if there's a tiny bit of liquid in this tape, like, it can't, like, there's just not enough voltage going through a keyboard to cause those kinds of problems. Alright. Next bit. Yeah, it's much neater if I cut it. So I could just use hands. No, but look how neat it is now. Like, this bit's all rough. Oh, you can't see it that closely, but that bit's all rough, and this bit's like its perfect line now. I reckon if it was a whatchamacallit, if it wasn't a translucent keyboard, then I probably would just rip it. Hobbyist cam headshot. Oh, Halogen, speaking of things that have been happening recently, we managed to sell a whole bunch of those old miniatures that we had from UNSW down at CanCon, which is where I was with Casey earlier this month. Not quite this month, but last month. So that was pretty good. The story for everyone else on the stream is that one of the other lecturers at UNSW emptied his garage from, I don't know, it seemed like he hadn't touched this stuff since the mid-90s or something, and had a whole bunch of very, very rare, untouched vintage Warhammer stuff. And the Tabletop Society at UNSW didn't really know what it was, so Halogen there pinged me and said, "You know Warhammer, right? Can you look at this stuff and see whether it's see what it is, just to identify it?" Because they were thinking, let's just give it to our members. We just want to know what it is first. And then when I identified it, I was like, "Don't give this shit away." It's like so like pristine condition, super rare old stuff. And so we started like putting it all together and just going, oh, we've got like a complete. I don't know if anyone here. It's like not many Warhammer heads here, right? But like there was like a complete unpunched. So the cardboard was still unpunched and on sprue version of a game called Gorkamorka, which is a classic old Games Workshop thing from. I'm trying to pick the year, like 97, 94, 97. It was mid-90s kind of thing. So like, you know, back when I was playing Warhammer as a kid, basically, like it's that stuff. And so it's like the students showing me this are like, this stuff's older than we are. And it's like, yeah. Oh wait, YouTube is trying to censor you. Did you swear? You swore in it, yeah. It's okay, you're allowed to swear. Yeah, so you're like, it's funny going from, this is probably not worth that much to, oh shit, that eBay listing is how much? Unfortunately, the big one, that Gorkamorka set didn't sell down in Canberra. But I think it's because you need to find the right collector at the right time, and then they will pay that amount for it. It's not like when you're asking that much for it, which is a reasonable amount for how much that sells on eBay, you can't guarantee you're going to find the right person at the right time. Brandon's saying something of D&D person yourself, but you've been eyeing Warhammer on the other side of the fence, and you're interested, if also a little intimidated. I understand. I mean, Warhammer is intimidating to people who know it. I was just going to cut out the area around where the daughterboard goes on, but I think I'm going to do a few more layers of tape. So I'll cut through that afterwards. As D&D only, your poor wallet, don't do it. Yeah, totally. I understand that. I always laugh because, like, you know, I play a bit of D&D as well, but I always laugh at the difference between Warhammer players and D&D players, because D&D players, it's always like, you can literally play D&D for like, I don't know, $20 or something like that, and then Warhammer is like, yeah, here you have one model. And so I see D&D players getting excited about accessorizing, and when you do, you end up buying like $100 dice set or something, like some really, really fancy dice, because there's literally nothing else you can accessorize. And then the Warhammer players are there with their like $1,000 of army before they can even like start playing, just like crying about how empty their wallets are. Hello, Epic, how's it going? Yes, I am streaming, building a mechanical keyboard. I'm at the point at the moment where I'm doing the, I don't know if it's famous, but the, I was going to say the famous tape mod on the back of the PCB, which apparently makes the keyboard sound cooler. I was tempted to build the whole thing first, see what it sounded like, then do the tape mod, and then do it, but it's a bit cumbersome going back and forth like that, so I figure I'll just do the tape mod, then I'll close the thing back up and start building the other bits onto it. Oh, Nicole's here. Hello, how's it going? Oh god, the one day you randomly decide to check Discord and it's here. Yes, it's a chicken on Tuesday, only chicken is so rudely not there, and I set up the camera and everything for it, but you know, it'll be fine. So Brandon's saying, yeah, the things you see people do is tape, foam, and lube. Yeah, so the cool thing is I don't need foam, because this thing has got its very, very nice, heavy silicon thing in the bottom. So I think that's going to take up the space there and make sure it doesn't kind of echo inside the case. So that'll dampen the case noise, I think. The foam will dampen the PCB noise. The lube is the one thing that I'm not doing, because I'm just not. I know it's ironic, because I will spend, you know, like on my painting, I will spend like, you know, 50 hours on a single piece every now and then, like lots and lots of time. But for the keyboard, I was like, no, I don't want to do that. Okay. So, just making sure this tape sits. Haljan says, speaking of hobbies, between Christmas and holidays, you got your hands on a few model kits. Ah, yes. I was just showing my Star Wars spaceship model kit that I built in I want to say November. It wasn't. Or maybe it was December. I bought that at PAX. Actually, PAX is always quite inspiring because that's a fun weekend to go down to Melbourne and splurge. And then Then I bought 2 more kits. So hang on. I'll show you the other kits that I bought. So this is the one. This is the one which you may have seen, which I painted up, and I really enjoyed this. It was a lot of fun. This is like a $15 kit. It's so cheap, but I turned it into like a full a full art piece, which I really enjoyed, and like, it's just fun to have. So I've got it up on my bookshelf here where I can always see it. And then, of course, because once you complete one kit, you obviously buy more than one. So I have a 1:12 scale plastic model kit Clone Trooper, which should be fun. I'm probably going to paint this up in the 501st. So, but I want to do it from like the Ahsoka era, so when they painted themselves up to look like her, which is really cool. And then I have an R2-D2 and a BB-8. I'm probably going to do the R2. I've already got some plans for like a sand base and try to do him looking like he's on Tatooine. So these two should be fun. I expect that they will happen sometime around, knowing me, they will happen sometime around 2025. They're in the definitely going to do pile. Yes, the definitely going to do pile with more stuff than one person could ever possibly do. Okay. I don't know how many more layers of tape I want on this. Well, there's only one layer on the bottom. Or am I only onto my second layer? Yeah, I'm only onto my second layer. There's a bit of overlap and stuff. But I don't know how many layers people do. But I think 2 to 3 is enough. But I don't know. Oh, okay, so you have the BB-8 and the DO kit. What's the DO kit? Is that another droid? Maybe 2 layers of tape. This is actually already starting to feel dense and like I can actually still hear a rattle. I reckon that's the unlooped stabilizers, but otherwise it's kind of chunkier is the way I'd describe. Oh my god, there's a screw missing. Did I? Oh, I think all of these screws must be loose. The downside to that one going missing is I didn't see when it went, which means it is in this room somewhere. I thought I got lucky and just saw it on the carpet there, but it was just a bit of fluff. Alright, it's not over here. Or it could be. It's tiny. Oh, I can't believe that, like, because that, I think I saw that was in there before. But now it is gone. Maybe if I'm lucky, it's just here on the table. The downside of building a keyboard on a painting table is it's not this nice, clean, pristine surface that you can just see everything on. Wait. Good. They have spare screws in the kit, so I don't have to go hunting for that one screw that's somewhere on my floor somewhere. I'm gonna sacrifice it. It's gone. Brandon, we were all waiting to hear the beautiful Thok, yeah. Halogen's waiting for the D's nuts joke. Okay. Gonna get one of these out. I'm glad that they had this. There's just like a bag of spare screws, so I can put this one back in here. Because I have a feeling that one loose screw here would have caused rattle. Because it would have just been these pieces wouldn't have been sitting together solidly. Okay, so I've tightened up all of these, so they're probably not going to come undone. The ones on the other side are now underneath all of the tape, so I hope that they were done up. If not, that's going to be rattle that I will never be able to fix on this keyboard, which could be a little annoying. Alright. A little bit more here. Alright, I think we're pretty much done for tape, because that's about 2 to 3 layers on every section of the keyboard, and it actually feels denser now, so I can tell that it's going to feel a little bit deeper sounding. There's a cat hair trapped in there. I don't think you can see that, but there you go. That's the important bits, I think. Alright, so now I need to make sure that the daughter board can still plug back into the keyboard, so I'm going to cut this area out here. There we go. Beautiful. Hopefully that's enough space for that to plug back in. Just a little hole that I cut out there. Right. So this is ready to go back in. So I need to plug this in first. Oops. I slipped there and I freaked out for a moment that I'd bent or like pulled on the cable, but it's okay. Alright, so the gaskets sit on those pieces. There's actually some plastic mounts to touch the gaskets. I'm gonna move other stuff out of the way. Whoa! Stuff on my side table is falling. Alright. And we put the top back on. Nice. Okay, so that's all closing up fine, which is really good to see, because I was worried about whether the tape mod was going to take up a lot of space. This thing's got some heft. I didn't know what it was when I first got it out, what the weight was, and it turns out it's actually just that silicon dampening pad is actually quite heavy. Alright. Screwing this thing back together. We'll go for opposite corners. Wait. Nicole's question. Did I miss something from Nicole? Oh, not sure if I've answered this already, but how am I feeling after COVID? Interesting. So, COVID was pretty hellish. You can tell what I was about to say. Is it okay? I can swear here. COVID was fucked. It wasn't like it was like having a cough and a fever that it just wouldn't go away for like I don't know how many days, and then I was in this, I don't know what you'd call it, like this fugue state of like feverish needing sleep, and then you'd sleep for like 15 hours and you wake up and you'd just be like hungry as all hell, and then I'd go back and forth. I was just swinging on this pendulum between like really sick and then hungry, needing to deal with that, and then and then boredom, because it was just like, all I've been doing is sleeping and occasionally eating, and not even eating interesting food because I'm sick, so I'm trying to like just eat healthy food and keep hydrated and stuff like that. So it was just this this interesting kind of week and a half, I'd say. I missed a friend's wedding, and this is like not just a friend who I see all the time, it's a friend who I haven't seen in 2 or 3 years, who lives in the US, came back here, had a wedding, and I'm just like at home coughing my lungs out and really pissed off. Also, I don't think anyone here, I doubt anyone here would have been friends from that wedding, but y'all didn't take enough photos. Very, very sad that while not being able to be there, there wasn't a stream of photos turning up somewhere for me and my partner to see. So we were pretty unhappy about that. And then I had a bunch of friends from interstate. So one from Canberra, one from Melbourne, and a bunch of other people get together for a weekend. We do it every year. We have a weekend of board games. We get together and play board games, and I missed that as well. And that was really shitty because that happened like 10 days after I got my first positive test. And I thought that hopefully 10 days after I'd be fine, but I was not. I was not fine at all. So it was like, yeah, shit happens. Luckily I made it to CanCon, because that was something that I really wanted to do. And I was really kind of like, I thought I was not going to make it to CanCon, but then I got my negative test on like the Wednesday, and the convention started on Saturday, and it was like after that, the next day or two, was this flurry of organization to try to make sure I could get down there and everything, which wasn't too bad because I stay at a friend's place every year when I go down there, so he was just like, whenever you come, it's fine, it's all good. And I was like, oh, sweet. Yeah. So stuff still happened, but yeah, I'm feeling better now, but I was more tired for longer than I expected, and I was not, like, it's kind of dumb because people had told me this. They're like, yeah, it tails, and you got to give yourself a break, and I didn't, and I was like, no, I want to fucking get back into things. I'm so just want to do something, and now I'm kind of like, no, you need to chill. You need to like just one thing at a time and work your way back up. Don't assume that once like a massive virus like that has gone through you that you're just gonna be totally fine the second you get a negative. It's not really like that. So respecting the fatigue at the moment. I'm starting up work again now. I was planning on starting up work like mid-January, but like I let it all just kind of like chill for a bit, and now I'm kind of ramping up my work stuff again. It's all the teaching stuff that I do. But yes, in a nutshell, that's where I am with COVID now. And so I think it was mostly because I was not ready for it as well. Because that was the first time I got it. So I was talking to another friend. It was like, oh, I thought it was like your second or third time by now. Because everyone else, it sort of is. So, yeah. So that was an interesting experience, I feel. But I'll know how it works if I get it again, and I assume that, not that I want to get it again or anything, but I assume it's not the kind of thing that you nowadays gonna get away with only ever getting once, which is a bit annoying, but that's how it goes. You reach the end of the tail end of COVID. It was exam season, and I assume that they're not going to give you special consideration at that point either, right? Because it's like you've been negative for a few days, and that's like, but I feel like you'd still be deserving of special consideration, because as if you can study, like everyone else has been studying for 2 weeks and you've just been like, I don't know, passing out most of the time. It really just depends on how many people have had it and how they're treating it, I guess. Okay, back to the keyboard. I think it's switch time, because we've done the tape mod, so now we're going to get all of these and put them in the keyboard. So if I follow the way they do this on YouTube, they do this. Oh, it didn't work. It's this thing they do on the YouTube videos where they're like totally like, they don't want to show you the boring bit of putting the keyboard together, so they just drop the packet of switches on it, and then all the switches are on the keyboard. So Unfortunately not. Yeah, oh my god, how cool do they look? They're like this pastel pink, aqua, and yellow. They're super cute. Alright, so let me put my first switch in ever. Looking at where the pins are, this should line up like this. I wonder how many of these I'm gonna bend before I get them all in. I wonder if that's bending now. No, it wasn't. That's not tech, that's candy. Yeah, right? Let me just turn this back over to face me, because I feel like I'm going to be over here a bit more now while I'm putting these switches in. Okay. I don't know what it's supposed to feel like, so I'm just gonna... I don't know if these are meant to click satisfyingly in place, but that felt like it was in. And so I'm just going to trust it. I also wonder what this keyboard's going to look like with like... So I had the options of different colors, and I got all the fancy colored stuff with the stabilizers and the switches, and then I've got brown keycaps. So it's gonna look really funny. Yes, they activate the same part of the brain as tasty looking dice. Totally. Oh yeah, that... I don't know if you can see that. The pin's already bent on this switch. So I'll just push that back into place before this goes in. I guess these pins are pretty delicate, and they've all been in a bag just rattling around with each other for a while. So I can't expect them all to be perfect. We have reached the manual labor section of the stream, where I am now just going to be doing the same thing over and over again for... How many keys does this thing have? About 100? This will probably get quicker as I get more confident with it. I just assumed that I was going to bend pins, and I might be bending pins here without knowing it. We'll find out once more of these are in, and then I actually connect it up to my computer and test it, and then we will find out whether I can use a switch puller as well. Oh, that one made a weird sound going in. Ah, well, we'll see how it goes. I'll test it later. Just noticed the little friend in the mark cam. What's that? Oh! This little friend? This is my axolotl. The axolotl is usually happy, but can become angry if you anger it. But honestly, it sits here happy most of the time. So it's actually like, it's usually like on my desk or something. It's just giving me a grin while I'm doing whatever I'm doing. Yeah, it's super cute. I don't know if you can tell, but I have a thing about axolotls. I nearly had some ages and ages ago, because a friend of mine who I was living with back then was a biology researcher, and she was like, they just finished a bunch of stuff with some axolotls, and she was like, they're free, do you want some? There's a pair of axolotls that they finished up their work of whatever behavioral experiments and stuff they were doing. So they're free to a good home, and I was like, oh yeah, definitely, that'd be awesome. And I was looking up the the kind of aquarium that I would need for them, and stuff like that. And then like partway through me organizing to get them, my friend's like, oh, they died. And I was like, no. So I guess they'd been part of scientific experiments. They had a little bit too much fatigue from whatever it was they were doing. They'd been in captivity too long, and so they didn't make it. And I was like, oh, so sad. So yeah, that was the time I nearly had axolotls as pets, but didn't quite get there. Axolotls are great. Your friend used to have one. You got the honor of picking it up while you cleaned the tank before it passed away. Yeah, they don't have very long lives, I think, and I think they're very, very specific about the environment that they live in. So, yeah, and I can't now because I have a cat, and I don't know what my cat would think of the axolotls, but on a scale of things that you can murder, things that are like not respected as being alive and maybe at best thought of as food, I don't know what chicken would think of the axolotls. So they're remaining in the fluffy toy form and the t-shirt, and that's as much as I'll have of them for now. I think in the UNSW Minecraft Society server there is an axolotl named after me, if I remember correctly. But I can't remember. Also, it wouldn't make as much sense now. I don't know how many people are still at UNSW who know who I am. Although, having said that, I was still teaching first year. It was nearly 2 years ago. So it's actually, most people will have left now, I reckon. Or at least be well on their way to leaving. Except those of you who love UNSW so much, you're going to be there for like 8 years. Which I know there's heaps of people who do that. I think they live like 10 plus years in captivity. Oh, wow, okay. Maybe. Maybe it was just that the ones that I wanted had been experimented on too much. It's bound to happen. I mean, it's kind of like, it's tough when you're doing biology research, right? You can't make sure everything's always okay. Yeah, I'm doing a fair bit of like just straightening out the pins before these go in, because I don't know how exact or perfect this has to be. You have a friend entering first year comp sci this year, and so sad that she won't have me. Aww, that's very nice of you, Nicole. But like, I'm pretty sure it's still Sasha, and Sasha's actually great. She's a good lecturer. So. And I think that from what I've heard, she's been getting like very, very good reviews from students. So hopefully things are still going fine. You spread the legacy. Send them to my YouTube channel or something. I had this weird thing where every now and then I log into this account on YouTube, because most of the time when I'm on YouTube, I'm actually on my personal account, which is a different account. Every now and then I log on to this one, and there's like a whole bunch of views on just like one of my videos. It's like someone tells a bunch of their friends to watch a particular thing, and then it gets a few hundred views and then fades back into obscurity. Like over the last month, for some reason, the technical writing workshop that I did got a whole lot of talk. I don't know if people were wrapping up writing on like theses or something, or they were starting on theses, and someone said, hey, you should check this out, this guy details the whole idea of like a scientific technical report. I can't remember which one that was. Was that the one where I played guitar through the whole thing? I can't remember. As long as Mark Coin exists, there's an emote on CSE, Mark will never die. I love how that is still there. I should have promoted this stream on CSE Soc Discord. And the people there are just like, who are you? It's like, I'm the ghost of lectures past. Oh, I don't know if you can see this. This pin is very bent. Can you see that? Very unhappy. Straighten that up and see how we go. Wait, it's the default reaction to upvote a thread. That's awesome. That would be really funny if there are like, stories about me being passed on that aren't even like from people who had me as a lecturer. It's just like secondhand. This is what Mark said. But I remember Richard having that kind of resonance, Richard Buckland, for ages, because we had him as like, he was me 20 years ago when I was at UNSW. And stories about him would just sort of float around forever. But he also never left. He still teaches at UNSW. So some of you are still students there. So Tuaka, sounds like you're still there, or you're just on the CSC Soc Discord. Every time I put one of these in, I can't tell whether that satisfying crunch as it goes in is it clicking into place, or it's it just bending the pin out of all recognition. Still bound by the student chains. Nicole will spread my legacy even though you've never taught. Oh, I never taught you. I had a really, really funny thing because like there's a board games shop that I go to, and they all knew who I was. Like the second I walked in, they knew who I was. But I didn't know, and they were like super polite about it. They were just like pretending they didn't know me and stuff. It was very silly. And then it came out later when one of them was just like, "I want to play games with Mark." And it was like, okay. Apparently one of the staff members at the shop met his girlfriend in my lectures or something like that, and it was like really funny. Yeah. All right, you heard your name but missed what I said. I was asking if anyone was still students there, and I was wondering if you were still a student there, or you were just hanging out on the CSC Soc Discord. Too scared to graduate. Yeah, no, fair enough. It's a bit weird now, isn't it? The tech industry, lots of people losing their jobs at big companies, other big companies on hiring freezes and stuff like that. I think it is a mildly scary time, I think, to be wanting to exit university and hoping for somewhere to work. If you take your time, I'll still be here with the medis. Wait, you're a med student? I didn't know you were a med student. Good luck with the, I don't know how long it is, 8 years of university. I can't remember. I thought, had we talked about this? I can't remember. Because I remember talking to you about stuff, but I can't remember how much I knew about your degree, Haljan. You're underloading. Oh, underloading, so you'll be 5 years total. Hey, underloading is like upmarking. I always found that. Like, that's just one of the stories I told students, was like, when I started underloading, I went from like a credit/distinction student to an HD student. I was just like, holy shit, is this the secret? You telling me if I just underloaded, I can just like go for a university medal or something? No, I was never actually going to do that. But I was like, I bumped up in brackets between like barely surviving university, although it was better than barely surviving, but then into like, ooh, elite student, and all I was doing is one less subject a term. It's a kind of like a unspoken secret of it. Like, if you're prepared to spend a couple more years chilling out as a student, you're actually probably going to get higher marks in the end. Not that they mean that much though, because a couple of years after working, then your marks are irrelevant, so it's sort of like back and forth. It's always hard to say. All your CS and software engineering friends will be gone. Tuaka said you can't extend your degree any longer than 4 years. Are you under certain conditions? Are you like a scholarship student or something? Halgan says, whenever your relatives ask you how long your degree will last, you mentally weigh up answering 4 or 5 years. Yeah. What's Casey saying? You did the dumb thing and overloaded. Oh no. 5+ placement plus honors. Wait, you're a doctor, right? Case? I can't remember. I knew you were medical. So you did like, wait, did you do a medicine degree in 5 years? That is harsh. Oh, you want to stay full time, right? Mental relief is good. High marks is a bonus. Yeah, I don't mind the underloading thing, but It's all personal preference. I think some people could get bored doing it. Sounds like Tawaka doesn't want to go less than full time. Nicole says, as long as everything goes to plan, should be your last year. Oh, nearly done. Congrats. But can't believe you started uni and Dan Mansfield got us through lockdown number 1. And then I got you through lockdown number 2. And then both Dan and I burnt out and left. I've run into him a few times. Not run into him, we actually just hang out. But like, I go over to his place every now and then and stuff. We're going to Melbourne next year for a big Warhammer tournament. He's going to be competing, actually playing Warhammer. So I'm just excited. I'm actually typing on the switches. I'm going to be going there for a painting competition. So should be a fun weekend down there. God, 4+ masters in 6 months. You're an overachiever. It's kind of okay to talk about it afterwards. Hey, it's like this trauma that's over, and then you're okay with it. But like at the time, you're just like not sleeping. You're just studying the whole time. What are we saying here? Halogen said, technically you're maintaining full-time, but you need those concession over... Oh, I don't know if this still works, but this old trick we used to do is you enroll full-time, you get your concession benefit, and then you unenroll in everything before the census date, and it costs you nothing, and you don't get any marks lost or anything. So that's always a fun thing. Oh my god, there's a cat hair in there. I don't know why I'm taking it out when I said you got to commit to having cat hairs, but it was loose enough that I decided to remove it. Oh, Tawaka saying that you do have one part-time case. So dumb. Yeah. So many regrets from student life. Actually, I don't really have regrets from student life. I did my 4-year degree in 5 years. I had a great time. Just really kind of... I don't know. I didn't get I got a job on campus straight after that. So it was like I never left. And yeah, it's very, very silly and very, very cruisy. I think my whole approach to life has never really been too focused. I quit the whole computing profession at one point as well. I said, this is shit, I never want to work in computing again. Which is, I find deeply ironic, because now I teach everyone how to do it, and I'm way back in it again. So, yeah. But I think it's nice. It's nicer to bounce around than it is to get locked into one track forever, I think. Are we getting a collab stream with Dan soon? I should have just called him up. I should have said, hey, I'm streaming. You should too. He won't stream very often on weeknights, I think, because, you know, he has kids and wants to spend time with his kids, which is totally fair enough. I just have Chicken, but Chicken is rudely ignoring us now. Unless she's like in the room somewhere. No, she's not. Yeah. No, you're stupid. You had no life, Casey says. Yeah. I think that's such a med student thing, the no life thing. Let's just go all in, and then like later on just go, oh man, there's so many things I could have been doing with my life. Instead I just studied the whole time. I remember like I saw these weird theories when I was a kid. Not a kid, student and stuff. Actually, the weird theories still continue. But it was this idea that like, you know how like you can make a lot of money in your life eventually. Then you end up with a lot of money, and you're and then when you've got all that money, you live your whatever kind of comfortable retired life. I actually don't think that's like, that used to be something that everyone expected they'd be able to do, but I don't think they can anymore. But you know, that idea. And I was thinking about this thing where what happens is like you turn 18 and people give you like $1 million, and then you go do whatever you want. You have your party, you do all the things that you could do in your retirement, but instead you do it while you're young and while you're actually like keen to have fun, and your knees don't hurt every time you do something fun. And then After that, you then chill out and you go work and you pay off that money again. And then, like, I don't know, that gives people, like, this freedom to do things when they're actually young and still keen for that freedom. And then later on, they can work and pay it off. But then, I don't know. It seems like a fun idea. But I can see a whole bunch of us starting off like that, having a lot of fun, and then just never returning to whatever work life the rest of the world wants for us. Which is also kind of bullshit, you know. Whatever the world wants for you, it's usually bullshit. It's usually just something to try to keep everything nice and stable, keep money flowing to Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos and people like that. Anyway, what are we saying? Is the full-time, part-time definition stricter for double degrees or something? I'm not sure if it is. I think it's just purely how many classes you're in. And the only thing it really makes a difference for is, travel concessions. So Casey's saying, you went to school, uni, workforce, and so close to long service. I only started making friends in the last 3 years. Oh no, Case. I'm proud to be one of your first friends. Yeah, I feel like getting stuck on that path that is kind of set out. I mean, it's really set out for all of us. Very early on, we get kind of convinced that there is a single path to go on through life, and I think that can be a little bit, I don't know what the word would be. Is the word dangerous? Detrimental to your mental health. What else are we talking about? Need to do internships this year. Oh yeah. Casey's saying those are expensive. These are tech students, Case. They get paid. What's the going rate at the moment for tech interns? I think it's about 80 grand a year. Adjusted for how long you're actually going to be there. If I remember correctly. I go by like what I hear about Atlassian and stuff. Oh, yours is required by your degree. You're in an engineering degree? I had this funny thing after I finished all the classes for my degree. Myself and there were so many of us. There was like 8 of us in an email thread. And it was like all of us had not done our industrial training, so we hadn't done any internship kind of thing, and we couldn't get a degree. And so it was really funny. We had this thing where we're all gonna figure out what we are doing, do the paperwork for it, and like get it sorted and graduate. So I finished my last class in 2003, and then I graduated in 2008. It was like so funny because I was like, I just didn't do any paperwork for it, and I think a lot of people are in that situation. Okay, switcheroony. We have many switches currently in the keyboard, but we do need to test whether the keyboard is actually working. So, grab the cable, figure out which USB I'm going to unplug from my computer. Okay, here is the, do I have the guts to unplug my current keyboard to plug this in? I don't think that's a good idea, because this is just switches at the moment. Saying software, yeah, halogens in software engineering, and those are the years your younger sibling and you were born. Yeah. I mean, like, surely it makes sense that your lecturer was old enough to be your father, right? I guess people don't think of me as that old because I just look really young. So, like, I've had this thing where, like, I think up until maybe my mid-30s or early 30s, I was still getting carded going into a pub. And it'd be every time the security guard would ask me for my ID, I'd just be like, "Are you serious, dude? Old enough to be your dad, thank you very much. You're gonna card me." But I was happy about it. And also, it's really funny because It used to be, I remember in my 20s and stuff, I used to be annoyed about looking young. Then, nowadays, I will meet up with friends. Then I'll be like, I'll look at my friends and I'll just be like, dude, you got old. And they're like, shut up. Alright. You prick who doesn't age and you look just as good as you did when you were like 25. You shut up. And I was like, yeah, okay. All those times where I looked like a little boy and you all looked like men. And now I don't know whether I still do. I'm just looking at my picture on the other screen. I guess I still look a lot younger than people my age, so it's kind of fun. 2003. Oh yeah, you're a bit behind on the stream. Same there. Yeah. So it was like a lot of my students were born around the time I was leaving uni, I think. I'll just think, yeah, during this holiday, there's always relatives like, so what year of high school are you in? It's like, I've nearly finished university, goddammit. Okay. Which USB am I unplugging? That looks like my microphone. That would be a bad idea. Is that my mouse? That's a camera. This is another camera. Alright, so this is my audio. Right. See if that worked. Okay. Can you still hear me? Can you still see me? Wait, where's my audio mixer? Oh, yeah. You can probably still hear me. Okay, good. Just making sure that's all still working. Okay, you have to go to dinner and then fly back to Sydney. Have fun. Have a good trip. Maybe I'll see you when you're back in Sydney. Okay, we're going to plug this keyboard in and I'm going to get blinded by the LEDs again. Is it bad to say it's now not lighting up? I mean, this time it's connected to the PC, so it is going to do different things this time. Uh-oh. I don't know what I've done. But the keyboard is now not connecting. Okay, let me try plugging it just into USB power and making sure that it lights up. And if it doesn't, okay, it's lighting up. That's good. The only downside is that it didn't connect to my computer when I plugged it into a USB there, which is a little odd. I'm just going to plug this back in. Okay. That's plugged in. Maybe it's got something to do with hardware something. Nicole's doing an internship at a Big Four accounting firm right now. Ooh, full on. Colleagues couldn't believe you're only 20. That's a good thing. That's a good thing because they're like, you act more mature, you know, that you're business-like enough that they respect you as an equal, even though that you're just a student doing an internship, and that's usually a good thing to have. Intelligence, yeah, surely because of your amazing work skills, right? Yeah. It's like, no, I have grey hair and I'm 20 years old, and it's very sad. Okay, so the issue that I have is that my keyboard is... I wonder if there's a kind of a Windows thing going on where I have two keyboards plugged in at the same time and it's just flat out rejecting one of them because there's another one plugged in. Alright, I'm going to go out on a limb and unplug my old keyboard and plug this one in. Okay, I officially have no keyboard. You might have grey hairs by the end of the job. Wait, is this the one? Oh yeah, I've got another scene set up here. Very awkward. Very awkward. Alright, let's go back to this scene. No, can't put the keyboard there because the cable's not long enough. The keyboard is definitely not connected right now. So let's try to troubleshoot this. Oh, I just went to my other keyboard and I tried to type in hardware into the search bar. It's not plugged in. Okay, so stuff we know. Let's do some troubleshooting. Stuff we know. We know this thing powers up when I plug it into just random power USB. That's a good sign. We know that when I plug it into my computer, it's not happy. That probably means it just needs something in order to just kind of authorize the new hardware. You know, kind of like maybe something in the device manager or something like that. Okay, I gotta plug my old keyboard back in so that I can actually navigate stuff. No, I just dropped the cables. No. I'm breaking a lot of things. Knocking things over. I've nearly knocked my headset off my desk. I have. Yeah, okay. You can't see anything that's going on over there, but like I'm trying to get my keyboard cables back. But I have to move a few things out of the way, which ends up meaning I have just cascaded and pushed a bunch of stuff off my desk. Alright. This keyboard, my old keyboard, it's a old Corsair mechanical from back before mechanical keyboards were that cool. And it has this massive double USB setup, and I'm not exactly sure why. I don't know why it needs both. But apparently it does. And this has a huge like connector thing, and so this was just underneath a bunch of other cables there, and to get this out I had to like push a bunch of stuff out of the way because my cable management's all just kind of squished together. Casey's heading off. See ya. Good to see you, Case. 6 a.m. clinic tomorrow. Oh my god. Oh, you can watch the rest later. Well, thank you very much. Thanks for coming along. See you soon. Alright, I'm just plugging my keyboard back in. So at least I can get to my... Right, devices. Mouse, keyboard, and pen. I mean, it looks like maybe I can plug in multiple keyboard devices at once. Let's see how we go. Actually, let me flick over to the other screen so you can see what I'm doing. So I've got this, and I've got this key tester. So you can actually see the key tester in the background. So you see that working with my old keyboard. This will be the test with the new keyboard to make sure everything's working, so I can just spam all the keys, and if they all light up, that means I've installed the switches correctly. However, I need to actually have my keyboard even connected at all first. Okay, so this is what I've got at the moment. mouse, keyboard, and pen. This is my current keyboard and my mouse. And I don't know what these two are. But there's something. I don't have two more keyboards plugged into my computer. But let's plug this in and see if another keyboard device appears in this list. But I kind of doubt it will, because it didn't before. And there sure are no lights coming on. Right. That's probably long enough for this thing to have recognized. But nothing is happening. I'm going to unplug this and plug it back in. I mean, maybe it's something as simple as... No, I was going to say it's as simple as me physically not plugging it in, right? But that can't be the case, because plugging it directly into just like a USB charger turned all the lights on and had them cycling correctly. So there's something there working. So I'm going to assume that the problem is software based. The complete lack of LEDs is something that I'm not happy about. Because surely... Wait, this isn't Bluetooth. Everything else. I feel like this isn't going to work. Because if this... Because this is a keyboard, right? If this wasn't automatically detecting, then this searching for the device is not going to magically make it work. Just making sure there's no switch somewhere. Oh, another thing I realized I've forgotten is there are these strips here to put feet on this keyboard. So there's like going to be some rubber feet in here, and I haven't put them on yet. But we'll get to that later. I mean, I may not even need it. I've got a nice keyboard. Not keyboard. I've a nice desk mat. That thing is taking way too long to find what should be a really easy device to find. So what shall I do? Let's hit up Google. Portico 75 not recognized by a computer. Well, let's go through their tutorial and see what happens when they hit software. Time to test switches. Put switches to test and plug your keyboard into your computer and open this up. You'll be using this to test your switches registering. VI will automatically detect the Portico is plugged in and compatible. Well, it will it? I do not think it will, because it has not. So that's all I'm getting. Key tester tab, standard keyboard layout. It will light up in the key tester. Right. If your switch isn't registering, no, pull it out. Okay, that's the switch. So we have zero information here about it not being seen as a keyboard. So what else will I do? I'll try plugging it into a different USB port. I'll just try one of the front ports and see how it goes. Which one's that? Headset. Okay. USB devices. No, that's not helping. Okay. We are at an impasse. This not connecting to USB. What can I do about that? The cable probably works because it's connected to that just USB power and worked. Oh wait, there it is. What? Okay. And my computer just said it connected. So we are now starting. Okay, Portico 75. Don't ask me why that didn't work before, because I don't know. Alright. So let's go to the key tester and test all of the keys on this keyboard. Yeah, okay, good. Top row is working. Next row is working. This is good. So let me show you what I'm doing here. So which row am I up to? This row. I'm just pressing the switches now. And they're all lighting up, which means I may have installed this correctly. Oh, look at that. So far, I haven't bent any pins. I wonder why the, that actually opened up the Windows. The Windows button is working. It's working as a Windows button. What's that button? Okay, I have one of them not working. That one there. So, let's pull that one out. I'm gonna unplug it from USB and bring it back over here. Switch to my other scene. So it was just this one here. So let's oh wow, this is this puller has a lot of tension. It's like a real serious piece of metal. I think it's this one. Wow. Okay. No bent pins. I wonder if that key is just not mapped to anything, but I'll swap to another switch anyway, just in case the switch itself was faulty. Stick that in. Plug this keyboard back in. Where's my... I have so many cables right now. Alright. Okay, that's good. It is now powering up. It's weird though, it was a USB-C cable and I flipped it upside down and it started working and I was like, why? Aren't you like an asymmetric cable? Okay, so that same key, I'm just gonna spam the board right now. That same key is not registering. So it might not be that the switch is a problem, it might just be literally configured for a key that's not on this this keyboard layout, maybe. Alright, I'm just going to press all the other keys to make sure that the oops. Yeah, so it's the right control is not working. But let's go back to, is it settings? Configure. Alright. Right, that's some special key. M01. I'm gonna assume that's like macro 1 or something, which is why it wasn't showing up as right control. Which is fine because no one uses right control, I think. Oh, I didn't actually check the oh yeah, it's working. I was about to say I didn't check the volume control knob, but it is actually changing my volume. So that's cool. Yep, and tapping it mutes me or unmutes my audio, so that's cool. Alright, so that's working. I'm gonna have to do something about this RGB just kind of going like this. I wonder if that key changes the RGB. I'll look it up later. Okay. So I can, if I want to, set that key to right control. Oh wait. Here. Key tester. So I clicked on that key, set it to right control, and I'll go to the key tester, and it's working now. So there was nothing wrong with the switch. It was just the way that it was set up. Okay, so all my switches are working, which is good. So the only thing left now, I'm going to unplug it again. The only thing left now is to come back across to my desk and put keycaps in. Oh, actually, there's also the rubber feet on the bottom. So maybe I will do the rubber feet before the keycaps. So that way I'm not scraping my new keycaps on my desk. I'm going to assume it's the ones with the yellow backing there. They look about the right size and shape to be keyboard feet. Yeah, and they're much stiffer than these gaskets. Alright, let's stick these on. There's one. There is another. There's one more. And there we go. Okay, so we have rubber feet. Now, it's keycaps time. So I'll put the rest of these switches away. The tools, I can put them all back. Well, most of them. I guess I'll keep the keycap puller there in case I need that. I actually don't have enough desk space at the moment for this, but we'll see how we go. Alright. Now's the fun part. Holy, yeah, definitely. Okay. So, here are the regular keys. The question for myself is how many of these am I going to use? I guess I will start off with the letters at least. Oh, you know what I'm definitely gonna do? Look at this space bar. Look at that one with its little face. Let's just put its face down and it's asleep. This is definitely replacing that space bar. Alright, so it's there. I think that's lining up correctly. Yeah, okay. Are you the right way up? Maybe they go the other way? No, it wouldn't go the other way. I think it's just lining it up with the stabilizers because they can rattle around, so... Alright. There we go. I have my super, super cute spacebar. That's not too bad. I can hear a little rattle from the stabilizer, but it's not super, super bad. I'm gonna see what other... There's actually 3 layers in this box. So there's the second layer, most of which I won't necessarily use. But there's another layer with a few bits and pieces. Another key puller. So I'll see. I don't know if I'm gonna need that. What's in that third layer? But let's just do the essentials first, which is just all of the letters. And then I think at some point I will also want to decide how how many of my other keys, like tab and shift and all that kind of stuff, that I want to have the actual words on them, and how much of them do I want to have cool pictures of cats, which is all of them. I think I know keyboards well enough that I'm not going to need whatchamacallit. I'm not going to need the word shift to be on my shift key for me to know what it is. No such thing as too many cats. Yes, yes. Ooh, this already sounds nice. Hang on. Can you hear that? It's, yeah. It already sounds way nicer than my keyboard. And as we know, keyboards are entirely about sound. It actually feels quite nice as well. Like, I've not used a tactile keyboard in a very long time, so having the slight pressure and then the gradation of the movement, it's quite different from the linear keyboard I'm used to, so very interesting. This is a very satisfying part of this. Wait, is that actually aimed at me? Kind of. Like just after putting the key on, and then you feel it, and it just feels really nice. I can see how this is an addiction for a lot of people. Fancy keyboards. Alright, I'm not gonna put the backspace on yet because I have a feeling that keys like backspace I'm gonna use the funky colored things rather than the basic standard ones. Also, I think all of these keys on the side here are too big because they're all for a full-size keyboard, and this is a 75%. I do like the narrower keyboards. Being someone that plays a lot of games with like one hand on the mouse, I prefer having my hands closer together rather than a full-size keyboard with a numpad. You end up really kind of trying to show my hands that you really kind of spread out. No, it's all coming together. These feel nice. I think it's this this thing that I heard about because I've been doing too much YouTubing about keyboards, is the PBT material that they use to make the keycaps, and it's different from the standard plastic, which is ABS plastic, and it makes them very I don't know what it is. It's a thicker kind of sound. My keyboard is dummy thick. It's great. This feels really good already. Okay, so I've got most of those. Oh yeah, F keys. I'm gonna see if there's different F keys or anything. Not necessarily. No. Oh, I've got to remember what these two were. I can't remember. Was it home and delete? I'll have to figure that out. Okay. So we have, I wonder if this is the right size enter key. I've got options for a bunch of things, like these ones, which are all, let me just show them to you, all like pictures of cats. So I think they're all like escape key options. I'm gonna use this one because it's a little cat waving, and that's really cute. Alright, what other options are there? No. I think those might be the narrower versions of the stabilized keys, like the wide keys, like the shifts and stuff. Okay, so enter key with a cute cat. Let's see if this is the right one. It might be too big. Oh no, that looks right. Just got to get it to attach to the stabilizers properly. Oh, I think that the backslash is a key that has to be there. Oops. Line that up correctly? Yeah, okay. So, backspace here. This one is just the word back. We're not having that. We're going to do something more fun than that. Although, maybe I don't have... Do I have anything of that size? I actually don't think I do. Maybe I am using that. So I've got this one, not the right size, however. So we'll put that aside there. Yeah, all the rest of these things are not the ones with the cool pictures. So it looks like the ones with the cool pictures are just the escape key. They're all the smaller ones. So let's put these F keys in at least. And then I can make some decisions about some of the other keys. I'm kind of happy with the cat spacebar though. That is super cute. I don't see how anyone could go with the blank spacebar when there's ships with this same kit. What was that button on the top right? I think it was print screen. We're not going to get print screen. We're going to get... Oop, nearly dropped it. Coffee mug paw print, looking from above. Or loaf of bread cat. There's some coffee mug cats. Oh, there's a bunch of the same things in a slightly different color. There's a cat holding a coffee. What color do I want? Maybe I want that dark color because I've got dark, light, if I have dark there. So let's go for the coffee mug paw print. So that's cute. Yes. I gotta see where some of these are gonna fit. Okay. Backspace I think is fixed. I don't think I can actually use anything other than the backspace because it's got the stabilizer bits and they didn't give me any that have cute pictures on them. Oh, that actually sounds pretty good. There's a little bit of stabilizer rattle. I'm gonna go buy some lube for that. Okay, so this here is, I think, home and end, or page up and page down. You can map them to... Oh, I think it was delete and home, because one of them's gonna have to be delete, I think. But what I can do with those is make them cute cats instead. So, I have several options. Cat drinking coffee. Another cat drinking coffee. Cat sitting in coffee mug. I reckon cat sitting in coffee mug is definitely happening. There's also loaf of bread cat. We're going to see where those are going to go. I think these two I'm probably going to want to have the same color. Let's see what else I'm putting in some of these other slots. So that's a shift there. And that shift is too big. So I think that's this. I'm kind of wondering if there's... So this is the other set. That might be something that I can use. Let's see if this is... Well, it's not exactly the same size. So let's keep that one in reserve. I don't even know what it's used for. So I've got another shift as well. So it depends on what color I want. They're not exactly the same size either, so I've got to see which size is... Oh, this shift is too big. Yeah, that's too big. Okay, so this is the wrong shift. Yeah, right? How nice are the cats? Also, hello, Anne. I don't know how long you've been there. But I didn't say hi to you before, so I'm not sure if you just hadn't chatted before. Okay, which color shift did I want? I'm tempted by this, but I don't know if it's... Yeah, if you look at it, it's not exactly the same. It's not exactly the same size or the same layout. So, this is a shift that definitely fits. I thought that there was another. Where did I see it? No, I think this is the only key that fits there. But I don't want that color. I want it to match the enter key. Although it matches the backspace key, so maybe that's okay. And this shift doesn't fit. Okay, so I am limited in my choices a little bit. I think that has to be that. Yes. Okay, so you're going in there. Okay, on this side we have tab. And tab is just like a normal key at the moment. So let's see if I can... Oh, you haven't written anything. Okay, but you tapped on and you were going to leave, but you had to see how the cat keyboard would turn out. Well, thank you for dropping by. It's a lot of fun to see people. I think tab has to be tab. Unless I put this bread cat there. But maybe I want bread cat down here. Ooh, does that even fit there? That does not fit there. Okay. Bread cat wants a tab. Oh no, wait. Does that? That is not lining up. No. I need the keycap puller. I put the key on and then I felt it and it didn't align with the rest of the row and it's like, oh no, we can't have that. Yeah. Okay. Pull that back out. Okay. Tab's tab. Can I put this here? This is really weird. I do not know what this one is supposed to be. Because it's cute and I want to put it on. But look how it's like, it's off center. So I'm not sure which key this is supposed to be on, but I don't think it fits anything on my keyboard. I reckon it's for a specific keyboard. Hi Dongshu, how's it going? Oh, you missed the first 2 hours. Hey, lucky I'm still going. I'm nearly done though, as you can see. Okay. So I've got a bunch of these keys. Oh, I should do the arrow keys because they have this like very, very funny arrow key set here. So because it's the coffee cat, each of the arrow keys, if you look it up close, is a little coffee bean. And in the middle is the cat sitting in the cup of coffee. So that's my arrow key set there. I'll show you. Very cute. I'm loving all of the just the catness of everything here. Okay, caps lock. Hello, Kasim. What is the Discord that is mentioned last? Oh, hang on. I will give you a link to the Discord. I wonder if it's still copied from before. No, it's not. Hang on. I have a link here. There you go. So, I've got this caps lock. I was wondering if any of these other keys, because I've got this on my lap here, the rest of these, and most of these are all for a full-size keyboard, so things that I don't need in a 75%. I was wondering if any of these are things that I could use in place of some of my other keys here, but it doesn't look like it. Oh, hang on, there's a dark brown enter key. Maybe that fits better there? I can't decide. Let's leave that there for now. Okay, now we have these here, which is, I've got the Control, Windows, Alt. Which one's that? Is that another Alt? Man, I love how you like forget what is on an actual keyboard. This is Alt and then a special function key. Also the Shift. Let's put the Shift on. Sorry, I just I just started and was like, oh, this sounds really cool. Anyway, okay, so Control, Windows key and Alt, and I have here, let's get these out, all of the kind of 1.5 sized keys from this set. This is quite exciting. And we have another Control and Windows and a menu. Wait, menu key is going to be for a Mac, so I don't need that. Okay, I'm going to put these to the side now. Don't you? I think I've never used right Alt in my life. Yeah, it's a key that just won't get pressed. Nicole, yes, it is all coming together, and it sounds really nice. By the way, I don't know if you can you hear that? God, it sounds so good. Hang on. Oh, it's so good. It sounds so good. Okay. So, I have like this Windows and Alt and stuff like that, but like I've also got croissant, bread cat, and a little bread roll. So yeah, you know which ones are definitely getting put on the keyboard. And we've got this one here. Okay, so I wonder if these are the right size. Maybe. I guess they've got to be the same size as these ones. So Twaka's heading into lurk mode. Good luck with the keyboard. Thank you very much. I am very close to this being done, I think. Okay, so I can take the Alt and I can replace it with the whatchamacallit. It's weird. It's nearly like the spacebar is higher than the other keys. Let me put the actual Alt on and see whether it goes to the same height. Croissant, bread cat, delete. Yeah, totally. It's gonna be really funny when I miss something and I can't type it. Sorry, just dropped one on the floor. Okay. I love how the only decisions I'm making now are purely aesthetic. Okay, that's exactly the same size as the Alt key, so that's okay. That'll fit there. It's just the spacebar is like slightly higher than the others, which I think is totally fine, right? Because the spacebar is gonna get used a lot more. So it looks like light brown on this side, dark brown on this side, and that will work, I think. I think the only downside is this key, the bread cat key, is a couple of millimeters wider. And so I don't know if it's even going to fit in here or not. Like, if I put it in there... Oh no, that totally fits. Oh, it's this one that's too narrow, I think. Yeah, there's a slight gap in the keyboard there if I want to use that one. And these ones are all the same size, and I think... Okay, I need to make a decision here about Control and Alt and the Windows key, and whether I'm okay with them being croissant, bread, and bread roll. I'm gonna go for it. Croissant is Control, that makes sense, right? Sounds the same. Windows key is the cat looking out the bread-shaped window, right? Windows key, yeah. And then the bread roll is the Alt. So I've got Control, Windows, Alt. Another Alt, which I will never use, and then the function key. Although that's weird, right? It's the wrong size. I can't put the wrong size key in. That just looks weird. I just don't want the ones with the normal words on them. They just seem boring. But I've run out of funky looking keys. So let me make sure that I have actually run out of funky looking keys. Because I've got this one, which is a coffee cup, but it's also the wrong color. Oh no, that's the other size as well. That's the smaller size. These are meant to be bigger, I think. Let me... No, they're not. The function key is exactly the same size as that funky key. So me thinking that they were a different size is not actually a problem. It totally is though. There's a gap on either side. But if I put in like this key they have here, this Windows key, this also has a gap on either side. I guess that's the deal with me having a specific keyboard versus a set of keys that are made for all keyboards. Let me see if I've got anything else in here that's the right size. I don't really. Like, there's nothing that's that kind of weird half size, unless it's this thing. But no, that's too big. That won't fit in there at all. Okay. That seals it. The only options are the ones that I have, in which case the coffee cup with the paw print is going to be it. Yes. Okay. We are done. Oh my god, it sounds so good. It feels so good. It's so different from my keyboard. Oh, I need these too. What were these? Delete and delete and home, I think they were. So I have many options here. So I could go the dark brown with the cat who is a coffee cup and the bread cat, or I could go the light brown and use some combo of cats holding coffee cups and cats sitting in the coffee cups. Donju, these are... Oh man, what were they called again? Star something. I remember that they are... whatchamacallit? Tactile. SP Star Magic Girl Edition switches. That's what these are. So I think they're SP Star tactile switches. I don't know if you can hear this right now. This sounds so good. Like, this reminds me of all of the YouTube videos I've been watching about people making keyboards. Okay. Aesthetics. Dark or light? I think light matches the numpad and the enter, but dark matches the other keys around there. Very hard to decide. I think I'm gonna go with the light colored ones. So that will be my delete. And between these two, I'm going to use this one because that symbol is the same as the enter key, so I don't need that one there. So the funniest thing for me now is going to be like, which of you is delete? Because although just on muscle memory the top one is delete, so that'll be okay. But I've basically taken as many of these things as possible that I could replace with cute cats, and I've replaced them with cute cats. I'm gonna let me move this over here so that you can hear it. Beautiful. Beautiful. Sounds so good. Lovely. There we are. Wait, let me show it to you here. There we are. My new keyboard. The base is a Portico 75 keyboard. The switches, as we were talking about a second ago, SP Star Magic Girl Edition switches. And the keycaps are from a company called... what was it? Uni, I think? Although here they're Kinovo Coffee Cat Keycaps. And so that is my first ever mechanical keyboard build. I'm gonna plug this in, and I don't know, I don't have anything I need to type right now, but I'm gonna plug it in and play some games and stuff like that. And so this is gonna be heaps of fun. But that'll be... Although, can you hear that? Can you hear that? Can you hear the... Those, they're still rattling, the stabilizers. I think I'm still going to want to take them off and put some lube in the stabilizers so that they don't rattle. But other than that, I'm quite happy with this. And these switches feel and sound very nice for something that I didn't lube. So they're just factory lube switches. But from what I hear from the keyboard community these days is that factory lube switches are actually pretty good. Okay, I'm gonna leave it there. Thank you everyone for coming along, joining in, and my stream comeback, I guess. I haven't streamed in a very long time, and dropping by and saying hello and things like that. It's been fun to build a keyboard like this, and this sounds and feels so good. just gushing over this keyboard. But anyway, thank you everyone for coming along. I'm gonna head off now, and I hope you all have a great time, and the next time I decide to stream something, I'll let you know via my Discord and on YouTube. And a few people found this via Facebook as well, so I'll put it up on my multiple Facebooks and things. So fun. This has been great. Thank you, Liv. Nice to see you also. And I will see you all again soon. Thank you very much, and goodbye.